Hey guys, Philosopher here, and I'm here for a bad reason, not for a good one today, and that is because Scopely provided me with some information that was inaccurate that I provided you as part of that Envoy set of videos right before the patch was released. I'm happy to become an Envoy. This was my first month doing it. I put many hours into those videos for you guys, putting those PowerPoints together and organizing all of that. And I'm a little pissed off that my information it was not 100% accurate. And my understanding is that Colleen Wing will be released tonight, or at least there'll be offers tonight. And I want to make sure before anyone makes any decision that they have 100% accurate info. And I am upset that it wasn't that way. So, bugs are maybe common for Scopely. They're not common for me. At least I try very hard to be accurate. So let's just get right into it. Uh, Essentially, to be crystal clear here, almost everything was accurate. The Kestrel kit, as you know, was accurate, but this slide right here with the numbers was not. And essentially, I asked Scopely what happened here, and basically they said because that the numbers they provided me were with Stark Tech, full Stark Tech, and I had been told at the time that they had zero Stark Tech, and so that's a 25% difference. I know another envoy is already. He just recently corrected the record because he was, he had gotten the same impression. They claim they told us the right the right Stark Tech amount. That wasn't my recollection, so I'll chalk this part of it up to a miscommunication. But the bottom line is it does have a significant impact for Kestrel. She's no longer a bigger damager than Black Bolt and more armor than Dark Phoenix and all of that. But look, she's still an amazing character. Many of you have unlocked her and are blowing through content with her, so she's still fantastic. But her damage, for example, is more like White Tiger stat level rather than greater than Black Bolt. Her health is still super high, close to top 10 in the game, but not quite as high as was said. But this is still very, very insane stats. Don't get me wrong, because there's no weakness here, right? There's over 150 characters in the game, and she's even her worst stat is in the top third. Okay, so she's fantastic, fantastic character. But not quite what I had been led to believe. I will just, we'll just say to you that we could only imagine, right, if those stats were correct, how ridiculous she would have been. So this character is so ridiculous, not quite as ridiculous as I had been led to believe. Now let's take a look though at Colleen Wing. This is important. So for Colleen Wing, this is the slide that I showed you at the time, and my point was essentially her stats are so ridiculous, particularly damage stat, like bigger than Black Bolt's, that you're probably going to end up using her as a solo character, which surprised me. My first impressions video, I was like, this is purely a war defense character, aren't going to use her elsewhere. And I'm like, well, seeing how ridiculous her damage is, you may end up using her in the Doom raid. Well, look at once we do the adjustment, here. Now, by the way, the speed stats, as you could tell, are all the same, but look at these other stats. Her damage is once again more at that White Tiger level. She has the same damage stat as Kestrel. Her health and her focus are very good. Top, 20% of characters or so, 15 to 20% of characters. But armor's low, resistance is low. So, less survivable, a little more of a glass cannon, kind of like a White Tiger type character, which is good. I think she though will be more of a niche character for you to be using in skill rate at best. I don't see her, making her way into the rotation for the skill nodes of the Doom Raid. But look, she's still a big damager. She's going to be, I think, on damage, in that White Tiger-esque kind of category, but not as absurd of power creep as I had been led to believe, which is good. for the game. I thought the power creep level was a little crazy, and I've expressed that to the devs. I should note for all these, as I said, the speed is correct on all of them. That was the same was true for Kestrel. Now let's go to Misty Knight. And her, by the way, all the kits are correct. So those are fine. But look at the stats. I had her as ridiculous across the board, other than speed. I had her, other than her speed being basically the same as Black Bolt and Sinister, you had all these ridiculous top 15 stats. Now, much more normal. She's still a fantastic character because, like I said, there's well over 150 characters in the game, okay? I think it's, what is it, 160 or something? But so she is still in the very high stat categories for everything, and she does have some really good things in her kit, some good qualities like a turn 1 ability block, which other tech characters don't have. So I do think, as I said before, I still do see her potentially being used on the tech boss in the Doom raids, just to put an ability block on Doom. But other than that, she's her stats aren't as so off the chart as I thought they were going to be. Very good, but not absurd, and that's a good thing. All right, I wish this was the only issue, but I've got a couple other issues that I need to clear up. One, the devs have no excuse, and this is just they got it wrong. So, and I asked them about this as well. They just said I was missed. So here is what they told me Luke Cage's passive was going to be, and I said, here, gain 10% max health per defender and heroes for hire ally. And that was just going to be for Luke Cage. No. Actually, it's gain 50% max health for self and heroes for hire allies. That's really important because before, if you look here, see, it was just gaining health for himself. Now he gives 50% max health for the entire team. So these stats that looked like they were less, like for example here, her health's only 36, but she gets 50% when she's with Luke Cage, right? So on the team, their health is ridiculous, right? Because they're getting plus 50% health. So that's new. That's different. That's a big change for Luke Cage. I'm surprised that they missed this because I asked specifically the devs, is Luke Cage just a filler character? I don't see him bringing all that much to the team, and that's a big addition. Now there's something else, and this I think is perhaps the most important piece of this. So with my videos, I had something called Insights from the Devs. Essentially, we did an interview over Zoom, and they gave us their thoughts on the team, what they were trying to achieve from a design perspective. And there's one thing they said in particular that I think is misleading. And it's this right here in yellow. Didn't go heavy on T4 requirements. This is for the Heroes for Hire team. Will be strong at 6664. I don't know whether the team will be strong at 6664 because I haven't played them yet. But I will tell you that when I went through this team, I found 8 T4s that I would think of as, at a first glance, would be T4s you would want to have on this team. And I had asked Yeti, who's another envoy whose opinion I respect a lot. He also came up with 8. And I'll show you the 8 that I thought. And then I'll tell you what Scopely said. So the 8 that I thought at first glance, I don't know if these are essentials. I don't put out T4 guides until I have a chance to really play the team and use the team. But what looked essential to me is this one here on Iron Fist, the passive. When a hero for higher ally drops below 50% health, apply defense up to that ally for 2 turns. That's huge, right? That could be a potential lifesaver there because that's 50% reduced damage. And then, of course, the on-term 10% chance to heal, 10% healing. So that's 1. Then you get to Luke Cage. It seemed like this one was 2, right? 20% max health. That's huge. So now we're at 2 T4s. Then you go to Misty Knight, and this one seemed necessary to me. Always apply defense down. And I'll apply offense up to Colleen Wing, a random Colleen Wing ally. So Colleen Wing gets offense up. That's 50% more damage, so you're going to want that, right? So now we're up to 3 T4s. And then, and then her passive, I would think you're going to want, whenever an enemy dies, even if it's a summon or whatever, apply speed up to 2 random heroes for higher allies. That's huge because this is a turn-based game, so getting 50% speed bar increase is huge. And then here, gain 40% focus and war defense. I'd figure as a war defense team, this would be important. So now we're up to 4 T4s. Then you go here to Colleen Wing. Now, here's the thing. She's a bleed-based damager. So one, let's just say this. Well, first of all, forgetting bleeds even for a minute. This is a must-have, right? Because you want to get not only at the end of every turn on war defense, another 100% damage to the most injured enemy. And then also, while this character has deflect, and she'll have deflect almost all the time probably, gain 100% chance to counterattack and 20% block amount. So I would think this is a necessity, so we're up to 5. Then I would think this is a necessity here. Apply heal block for 2 turns to all enemies in addition to 50% piercing to all enemies. So now we're up to 6 T4s that you would need for the team. Then here's the thing for these last 2. She's a bleed character. And not only would this T4 apply an additional bleed, but it increases the multiplier on all your bleeds from it. So in other words, the damage multiplier on the bleeds goes up when you T4 that ability. So this seems to me like a necessary T4 for her. So then that would bring us to 7 T4s. And same here, you get an additional bleed and you would get the higher multiplier. So that would be 8 T4s. That's how I came up with 8 T4s. So I asked Cerebro, just like I did with the other ones, and essentially the team disagrees with that. They think that there is really only 5 essential T4s. The one from Iron Fist, the one from Luke Cage. They only come up with one from Misty Knight. Not sure how that happens. And then 2 for Colleen Wing. One, I imagine, is probably going to be this one and this one. So they think there's 5. I think that there's 8. Obviously, what's essential is a matter of opinion. But I guess I would just say take with a grain of salt their claim that this is a low T4 requirement. So look, I get a lot of T4s because I'm in a alliance that finishes high in these seasons. But for most of my time in Marvel Strike Force, I haven't been. And I've had a scrimp and save. I'm still low on T4s on a lot of teams. And I would just say to you guys, know going in that you will at least need 5. You may need 8 T4s to get this team up and running. And that's only for 4 characters. You may have some of these T4s in the past if you're a player who's been playing a long time. And that's great. But if you don't, consider that T4 investment when you're investing in this team. All right, guys, I got to tell you, hated having to do this video, but it's very important for me to correct the record. And I will tell you, the next time I am going to take everything Scopely tells me with a grain of salt, and I'm going to put a disclaimer on every video telling everyone that. All right. Well, look, I doubt you like this video, but hey, smash the like button anyway. Subscribe to this channel. Check out my Discord if you want to complain. You can complain there, or just complain to Scopely, please. And then also, please also check out our Twitch stream that's below. I will tonight unlock Colleen Wing, and we'll do some testing of her, and then I will also post the video tomorrow.